Josh Allen, quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, spoke to the media less than 24 hours after the team's season-ending loss to the Bengals in the AFC Divisional Round. He reflected on the highs and lows of his fifth NFL season, which was filled with emotional moments for the Bills but ultimately fell short of their goal. Other players on the team described the feeling of the divisional loss as numb and said the emotional toll of the season caught up with them. Allen concurred with his teammates and said that he personally felt the same way. He also shared that he had an elbow injury in Week 9, which affected him in the second half of the season, but it did not require surgery, and rest and recovery will help him get it back to 100%.
Not where we always, wanted to be with this. What do you think, processing it a day after? What do you think went wrong?
I don't think we obviously executed at a high level, and that starts with me. What weren't as detailed as maybe we would have liked to have been. But again, credit to the Bengals. They had a really good game plan. They came out and on both sides of the ball and they were firing. We just didn't answer back.
Josh, you from 2 years ago, conference championship appearance to now back-to-back divisional rounds. Does it feel in your mind like this season was a step backward in some ways, in the sense that you didn't advance beyond where you got last year?
I don't want to just discredit everything that we did this year. There's a lot of positives that we saw throughout the year. A lot of adversity that this team had been dealt. I'm still proud of our team for how we handled some of those really adverse situations. They weren't all easy, and that's the NFL, man. There's going to be 31 unhappy teams, and this is going to be the feeling every year unless you win the Super Bowl. So again, obviously we want to win our last game, and we didn't do that. So a lot to learn from, a lot to grow from, but we're going to stick together as a team and as an office and an organization, and continue to try to figure things out.
I recognize that the hurt is still fresh from yesterday, but what in your mind has to happen to push past this stage of where you've been and advance beyond it?
Yeah, it's a loaded question. We gotta play better in the later parts of the season. We got to find a way to peak at the right time, in the playoffs. So, again, a lot to look at, a lot to learn from and grow from, and we're going to continue to, keep working on things.
Josh, with your elbow, we know it was listed on the injury report, through the season. What are the steps forward in terms of taking care of that? Is it rest? Are you going to have to get an operation of any sort? Where is that at?
Yeah, no, we don't think operation is necessary at this time, and obviously rest and recovery is going to be really good for it. Yeah.
How impactful was it since the injury to the end of the season in your performance?
There was a period obviously right after for a few weeks where, it was pretty bothersome, but again, it didn't affect me all that much. Just kind of felt like maybe I was trying to throw it a little differently mechanically. Had to change a few things, and got away a little bit from, how I'm used to throwing the ball, and that's just kind of a byproduct of that. But again, it didn't affect me too much.
Hey Josh, early in the season, it felt like there was a lot. The offense just seemed easy for the offense. Did you get the sense later in the year that it was really hard? Like everything just seemed hard for you guys late in the year. Did you have that same sense of feeling?
I don't. It's the NFL, and again, the first few weeks of a season, you don't really know, who the teams are in the league. The first couple games are a really big fill-up process for everybody. And as you get in the later part of the season, that's when, the opposing teams, defenses in general are starting to click, and, they're figuring things out too. They've got film on you. So we got to be adaptive, and we got to figure out ways to, again, make it a little easier for us. And, going in the off season, talking with the coaching staff and just figuring out, again, ways to maybe lessen that burden. So again, there's a lot to learn from.
Josh, understanding that peaking at the right time
while also knowing that some things seem to prevent this team from peaking through a lot of adversity from the things that happen. How do you balance being proud of this team and yet still unhappy with where things ended?
Yeah, well, again, there's a lot of love in this locker room for each other, but at the same time, I'm sick to my stomach. I know a lot of guys in the locker room are as well. We want to win a Super Bowl. And that's our goal, and that's our mindset every time we step out on the field, and each and every year that'll never change. And it sucks, feeling like you're close and not being able to accomplish it. And I know it's been the last 3 years with a very similar feeling, and we got to continue to push forward and find a way to get over this hump and set out to accomplish what we want.
Josh, we saw that Steph was visibly upset on the sideline yesterday, as the game went on. What were those conversations like with him, and just conversations really since the game ended?
Yeah, I mean, guys are competitive. Again, we don't want to lose. It's not fun losing. It's not fun losing that way. So it's all understood. At the end of the day, we got to be there for each other and continue to keep pushing forward.
Did you ever feel like at any point this season that there was any disconnect between you two, or you guys weren't on the same page at all, or was it just there just sometimes weren't those opportunities in games?
Yeah, I just feel like sometimes there weren't that many opportunities, and again, defenses can game plan, and try to take away your number one receiver, and that's just the fact of it. Those guys on the other side of the ball get paid too, but just again continuing to find ways to get him the ball.
Josh, to clarify on your elbow, when you said surgery is not necessary right now, is that something you'll evaluate again in a few weeks, or do you think that's good to go?
I think it's good to go. Yeah, I think it's we don't plan on any of that.
Josh, you mentioned that you felt at times maybe that your throwing motion was compromised a bit after the injury. Did that improve as the season went on to where, now here in say in the playoffs, you were back to throwing normally? Or
Yeah, I think really 2 weeks ago is when I kind of felt like I got back to mechanically what I like. Again, being a rotational thrower, it's very kind of elbow prevalent. And maybe I got a little bit to more of a linear type deal because I just couldn't really use all that much force and kind of flicking it out there. But again, just adapting.
Josh, we've seen this team invest heavily on the defense last year, signing Vaughn, multiple first-round picks used on that side of the football. Are you satisfied with the level to which you have added on the offense, whether that be up front, in front of you, or at wide receiver, in giving you weapons?
I love our guys. They battle their tails off. That doesn't bother me. I got to go out there and be the best quarterback that I can be for this team, and just go try to execute and trust the 10 guys on the field with me.
Josh, what did Cincinnati do from a coverage standpoint that made it difficult for you guys to go out and execute?
They were bringing some simulated pressures and dropping a DN and bringing the star and throwing some, whether it be junk tamper or some post-high zone behind it, and just mixing up the looks of where they were bringing pressure. So again, just gotta be better. And they outplayed us yesterday, which is a sucky feeling. And we gotta learn from it.
Josh, what will stick with you most from this season?
The adversity that this team had to overcome. Again, there's a lot of stuff that happened to a football team that I don't know if it's ever happened before. And just battling through that with the guys in this locker room and us, trusting each other. Obviously, we want to win. Make no mistake about it. But I'm proud of how this team was able to fight through some of the stuff that we went through.
Josh, how do you guys turn the page? I know obviously right now is not the easiest thing, but how do you get out of the funk that you guys are in?
The only way is forward, and we got to continue to keep pushing and learning and talking with the coaching staff and being involved with that and figuring out how we can make this thing work going forward. how it's, to make it a little easier for us. And again, the NFL, it's hard to win this league, and to have sustained success is very, very difficult. And we've been in the playoffs the last 4 years now. We've gotten close, but we haven't gotten to where we want to get to. And we're going to keep striving to do that. And again, the guys in this locker room have that same feeling. And again, every year is different. I don't know who's like personnel and all that stuff. That's such a different part of it too. And it sucks saying bye to these guys that you may never play with again, never see again. And that's just kind of the fact of the league. And it's a business at the end of the day. But I've got so much love for the guys in this locker room.
Josh, good to talk about that on draft night. Such a special night, right? You get drafted alongside a guy named Tremaine Edmonds. How important is it to keep a guy like that in this building?
Yeah, I mean, Tremaine's had an unbelievable year. He's a captain, calls our plays for us on defensive side of the ball. A guy that has been in this league for 5 years now, and he's made some unbelievable plays and had some unbelievable moments for us. And I don't know how that's all shaking up. I don't know anything about that. Would I love to have him? Absolutely. He's a difference maker out there. Guys love him. I love him. He busts his tail. He works hard. He doesn't complain. He's the ultimate guy on defense that you would want leading your defense. So, I guess we'll have to see. And I hope we get him back.
Hey Josh, one of the guys who might not be here is Devin. He's a free agent. Do you think James Cook, based on what you saw this year, can be the number one guy next year, hold that role, and be the guy?
Yeah, I think he's got that ability, and again, who knows what's going to happen with all that. So I'll kind of leave it there.
How much room? Well, go ahead, Kevin.
When you look at the season as a whole, with OC, what do you make of the ways he adjusted within games and throughout the course of the entire season?
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job. Putting us in positions to be successful, and if you look at the statistics and rankings, I think we're ranked, or statistically at least, pretty high in basically all the metrics that you want to use. But again, I got to be better for him. Especially when he gives me some shot plays. I had turned the ball over too many times this year, and didn't really bite us all that much. Only losing 3 games in the regular season, but there's opportunities where it could have, and just taking a deep dive into that and understanding, defenses as well as I can, and just trying to make the right play moving forward, and again, allow this offense to continue being out in the field.
On the same topic,
When do you start that? Or
That starts now. Yeah, talking with the coaching staff, and maybe taking a little bit of time off and just kind of reevaluating things, and obviously letting the body rest and recover. But again, just it doesn't really stop.
on the same topic, how much room do you think you and Dorsey still have to? How much room is there still to grow?
A lot of room, and the relationship that we have, and the faith that we have in each other, that's going to stay high. And recency bias from this last game. I know everybody's going to lose their minds, but we did a lot of good things this year, and I trust him. He works so hard. He works tirelessly. He's always in the building. He'll FaceTime me at 11 o'clock at night, still here, and just trying to find new ways to get the ball, into certain guys' hands. So I respect the hell out of him. I really do.
You guys as a team went through a lot. This community went through a lot this year. Did you feel that you guys were at least some sort of distraction or inspiration through a nice season you had? And I know it didn't end that well. Through what this community went through, in the sense, even if there's a sense of responsibility with that.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of stuff, and like I said, the way our team handled it, there's times easily we could have allowed it to be an excuse, and we didn't. And at the end of the day, we got DeMar back, so that's an extreme silver lining for everybody in this locker room.
There were a lot of changes to the quarterback room last offseason, and now with Joe and Case coming in, would you like this room to stay the same? Did you like working with Joe and having Case?
I love both of them. I really do. And obviously you guys know how much I love Matt, but they were fantastic for me this year. Joe works his tail off. He really does. He's extremely smart. Obviously being an offensive coordinator before, and I'm sure he's going to be getting calls, and however that plays out is yet to be seen. But Case, just the presence, the vet presence, the things that we're able to talk about, not just X's and O's, but from leadership mentality and that type of standpoint, how to interact with certain guys. He's been great for me, and again, it's the league, it's a business. I understand that things change up extremely quickly, but I love both those guys, and I'd love to work with them going forward.
Josh, Matt Milano yesterday said it felt like the sideline lacked energy. Given what was at stake in the game, that sounded like a sort of a troubling thing to hear. Did you get that sense? And if you did, how do you fix that going forward?
I don't. Energy is created by execution, and we didn't go out there and execute. So, the 2 3-and-outs right away. They scored 2 touchdowns right away. That's just really bad situational football. It's bad complementary football. And somebody's got to step up and make a play. And early on in the game, we didn't, and that's the fact of it. And we had an opportunity to make it a 1-score game right before halftime. Didn't get that done. So again, it's a lot of complementary football, a lot of situational football that we got to be better at, and especially against good teams where you need to execute at a very high level. And we didn't do that yesterday, and I take that upon my shoulders, and I got to be better for this team.
Will you be working with Jordan again this offseason, and what's that timeline look like?
Yeah, most likely. Honestly, I don't know when I'm going back to California. If I'm going back to California, I didn't really plan for this to happen, obviously. So just kind of figuring things out as we go here, and just kind of playing it by ear.
Gosh, there's obviously takeaways from every season, but what do you think you learned about yourself this last season?
I got a lot more to learn, a lot more to grow from, and I got a long way to go.
You mentioned not being detailed yesterday. Is that preparation-wise in the game, and why do you think that was?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of a lot of different things. We gotta be able to go out there and execute. And again, we didn't. And whether it was a mental error on my mistake, whether it's sliding the protection the right way or the wrong way, or calling the play the right way in the huddle, whatever it is, there's just a lot of things leading up to it that we need to be better at, and and again, I take that upon myself, and I gotta get this team to where we feel like we're comfortable to go out there on game day. And I'm not saying that we weren't yesterday. We just didn't execute, and we gotta be better at that.
You mentioned the turnovers earlier as an area that you identified as a problem. Do you feel that maybe at times this season that you were trying to do too much, or what do you maybe attribute those to if it's something else?
Potentially. Again, looking back at film every year, it's just you continue to get better, but you look at film, it's just like, God, why are my eyes starting here in this concept? Why am I looking over here? Why am I throwing this ball? Stuff to clean up. And again, with repetition, I'm going to continue to get better, and I'm going to learn a lot from this season, and come out and have the hunger for next year.
The details and execution yesterday. You guys have said it maybe felt like just the emotional toll of everything this season caught up with the team, but it's different for everyone. Did you feel that for you, or what was that like?
I can agree with that statement. I don't know for me personally, but again, it just, you got to play your best against really good teams, and we didn't yesterday. Thank you guys for everything.